Are you God's puppet? Is God up there with strings on his hand, controlling everything the way he wants to control them, and you have no say in it? As I was reading this morning in my Bible, I came across two verses that, just didn't sit well with me. I mean, have you ever done that where you're reading along in the Bible and you come across a passage and you go, okay,
yeah,
something's not right about this.
I do that a lot.
Do you really?
Yeah, I really do.
So what do you do?
I research it because I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. Some things just don't connect.
Right. In these two passages, it doesn't basically. God just flat out says that I'm going to choose who I want to choose to do what I want them to do. It was cut and dry. And then in the other passage, it says that he hardens people's hearts.
You can see why that would fit really well with you, because you're like, wow.
God's supposed to be fair and loving, but he sounds really mean. We're going to take a look at this today, and we're going to find out the truth about God.
Well, we better.
Yeah.
It's making me nervous.
So the verse that I found was in Romans 9:10. And let me tell you the story. So there is Rebekah and Isaac. And Rebekah and Isaac had two children that were both conceived at the same time, Esau and Jacob. So before the twins were even born, God decided this. It says, yet before the twins were born or had done anything good or bad. So they've done nothing.
Right.
Okay, nothing. In order that God's purpose in election might stand, so not by works, but by him who calls, she was told. So Rebekah was told, the older will serve the younger, just as it is written, Jacob I loved. Now this is God, okay? Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. Now, hate is a strong word, right? Yeah. Hated, if you look to the root word, it really means rejected. Does that sound fair?
No.
It isn't fair. Right?
I'm older.
I mean, not even born.
I'm first. I get to be in charge, right?
Even back then, it was like law.
Right.
But, even before they were born,
right.
God said, I choose this one and don't choose you.
Right. Oh, wait a minute. I haven't even had a chance to prove myself yet, right?
So if that wasn't bad enough, as I'm reading along, then I go to Romans, same chapter 9, verses 14 and 18. This is about Pharaoh. And if you know this story of Pharaoh, God hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Kind of common knowledge when you're talking about the Red Sea.
Right.
Yeah.
But, if you think about it, did Pharaoh do anything wrong?
Right.
I mean, did God just go, I'm gonna harden your heart?
It's a good question.
I know. So it says, I will have mercy on who I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion. I mean, it's like, I'm going to have mercy on you. No, I'm not. I'm going to have compassion on you. No, I'm not going to have compassion on you.
It sounds like a mean God.
It does, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like a mean God? For the scripture says to Pharaoh, for this very purpose I have raised you up, that I might show my power in you, that my name might be proclaimed in all the earth. So then he has mercy whoever he wills, and he will harden whomever he wills. That didn't make me feel any better. I mean, it's like, okay, God. I mean, you're sitting up there and you're saying, I choose this person to have plagues, flies, locusts, boils, so that I can show my glory in you.
Right.
It's like,
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Are you going to fix this for us so we have a better feeling about the whole thing?
You can see why I got up early that morning. I came running to your side and saying, honey, I don't feel good about this.
This is not good.
That is Yoda.
Yeah.
Good, I do not feel good. How would Yoda say it?
Good, I do not feel.
Yeah. You might be saying, okay, Jim and Kim, if this is true, then really I am not accountable for my sins or for my wrongdoing. How would you know if you're a person that God has chosen to harden your heart or to use you for bad? Well, and I can see how go ahead.
That's deep.
I know it is.
And I'm thinking
it's
about
deep for a Tuesday.
Well, it's really, you really got to think about that because it's true.
Yeah.
It's like when you're sinning, that's just what God divinely made it yours, that you were just going to sin and then it's okay. Because how are you going to change it?
Well, I would think it's not my fault, because really, who can resist or work against the will of God?
Right.
I mean, if God says it's going to happen, it probably is going to happen.
Right.
So then is it your fault?
Right.
Is it your fault? Kim,
yes.
If you created something, okay, like, so I don't know, like
a wreath?
Well, maybe, okay, so let's kind of bring it up a level. So if you created like an AI or something to...
Those are kind of fun.
You know, the new technology today. If you created something, would you own that? The thing you... I guess, would you own your created?
I made it.
Right. What happens if like that AI being just said, no, you creator, I'm not going to do that. So on you.
I'd either switch it off or put him in the trash.
That was a good answer. Good answer. Yeah, it's the same with God.
He's going to switch me off or put me in the trash?
No.
Wait a minute.
No, you created something. You're the creator. And the thing you created is the creation. Right. God created us. He can really do whatever he wants to with our lives. I mean, I know that's kind of a hard concept, and it almost makes me feel like I don't have value, maybe.
Right. You don't have any choices.
But God's love is on top of that. God's love supersedes that.
Yeah.
You can never forget God's love. But God always has a purpose for whatever he's doing or he does. And it's always out of love or to glorify him. Yeah, good word. So you need to remember that.
I'm going back to Pharaoh.
Okay.
And I'm really thinking...
Bring it on, honey. Come on.
Well, because you kind of questioned, did Pharaoh know that God was hardening his heart? A, Pharaoh probably doesn't have a relationship with God.
No.
So he doesn't care.
No.
And B, he's an evil person. So he probably doesn't think twice about what he's doing.
No.
It seems like evil people don't have that conviction.
And, that's a good point, because there's a verse in Romans. It says that, man chooses evil and they reject God. Right. So God hands them over to their desires. Right. So I have a question for you. We're going to go off topic. Okay.
Off topic.
Off topic.
All right.
And you guys answer this too. Now think about it. Do you, Kim, I'm going to point to you because I would talk to them and I'm going to point to you right now. Okay. Do you really have control over your life? Yes, there are certain things you control, but do you really have control over your life?
No.
Okay, so...
I really don't think so.
So what do you guys think? Do you guys have really, really control over your life? I mean, what do you think? Why? Why would you say that?
Well, because I know God's in control.
I know, but I mean, say why don't you think you have control?
And part of it is just, I'm kind of glad that I don't have control. Because, I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to lean on somebody else that actually has control of the big picture. But no, God has control of my life. I was made in his image and he's in control.
And you think about it though, too. I mean, our lives are so fragile. And when you think of really, do you have control? Yes, you have some controls of aspect of your life. You can choose things to do in life. But I mean, do you have control over if you get cancer? Do you have control over whether a tornado rips your house up or a hurricane destroys your house? Do you have control the prices of food and gas? I mean, do you have control, if you lose your job after 20 years? Right. So when you start looking at all those aspects, which are big things, big things, I think we choose little things. You really kind of say, I really kind of don't have much control. I live my life by the grace of God every day.
Yeah.
So in talking about, God chooses people to do whatever, whatever he wants to do with them. He does give everybody. And I hope this explains, let me go back. I hope this explains some of it, of why God will choose people to do this and not others. And
or at least make you feel better about it.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah. So we all have free will. We all have free will to do good or bad.
Right.
But the crazy thing about this is even though you think it's free will, God foreknows everything you're going to choose.
Yeah.
He knew that Jacob would be a better leader than Esau. It may seem mean, but God that's a tongue twister. Foreknew. So God foreknew that Jacob was going to be better.
Right.
And God foreknew that Pharaoh was going to make all these bad choices in life and reject him. So God says, okay, I foreknow all this information. So then I'm going to use Pharaoh for my glory. Right. And of course it was, because it's one of the most famous stories in the Bible.
Which then you got to ask yourself,
what?
Did he really harden Pharaoh's heart? Or did he just know that Pharaoh was going to choose bad choices? So his heart was going to be hardened. Yeah, I mean, because even if the Pharaoh decided to give his life to Jesus one day, God would have already known that.
He would have foreknew that.
You know? Yeah.
So then he would have chosen somebody else.
And what would have happened?
And then he probably wouldn't have taken all of the Israelite slaves.
Right.
He wouldn't have done that, because he would have had compassion and not let him work to death.
Right.
And whip him and beat him to build his pyramids.
Right.
So I hope that makes sense, guys, and how we presented it. Does it make sense to you? If it makes sense to you, hopefully it makes sense to them. Does it make sense to you?
What are you saying exactly?
I don't know.
That because I am so dumb. No. If I get it, everybody will get it.
Maybe that
right?
Wasn't
what
a
he
good.
said.
No, it's not.
That's kind of what he
Maybe
said.
that wasn't a good question. Okay.
You know what?
I will retract the question.
No. You're out of here, man. You know what? Here's what we come out with. Here's the take on it.
The chicken or the egg?
God. What?
The chicken or the egg?
Yeah, that too.
Okay, time to get through.
The chicken's first because God made the chicken. Okay. And then he had the egg.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right.
Anyways, God's a good God.
Yes.
He uses everything for his purpose. And yes, we have free will, but God knows what those choices are going to be. However, can God change his mind? And we've talked about that in another video, whether or not you can change God's mind.
Yes.
Prayer is important.
Yes.
Because maybe you can. Anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Yeah.
And we will see you in the next video. Bye.